we are in a unique position because we're not just a SaaS company. We're going and saying, subscribe with us and get. No, we are in the ground. We are helping manufacture. We are operating our warehouses. We are overseeing the delivery. So we have a skin in the game. We're not just a SaaS where we tell you, try us and maybe you reach. So we already bridging the gap of something that does not exist. And we know we have that unique selling kind of proposition that's very difficult to imitate. And we're doubling down on these difficult things because not everyone daring to kind of go and do them. And hopefully that gives us the right defensibility. Again, we always try to cannibalize ourselves before anyone will kind of look at the services we're doing. So we're always challenging what we're doing and creating that change and promise going forward. There will be a kind of mistake here and there, and we're fine with it because that's part of the learning and the experience we're going through. So you need to understand the trends. You need to understand how the world's gonna work, and then have your own hypothesis. At the end of the day is not 100%, but you kind of maximize the probability by understanding all these kind of elements and components.
It's almost like playing the role of a chief economist, seeing the future. And then the best thing is you are the one who's doing it also, so that you connect the dots better than anyone else.
Exactly, that's my job, is to actually understand how the economy is going to work at a macro level, at a micro level, and how my company fit in that equation. Because company will succeed if they position themselves in a tailwind. And if there is a tailwind, it will push you with minimum energy as a company. But if you're going against the wind, and that will create a lot of buffer, a lot of burn, a lot of challenge. So my job as a captain is to gauge the ship in the right direction, ensuring that tailwind continuously in our back and pushing us efficiently going forward.
Yes.
And one of the things that I tell the employee is, there is someone, because we are a big company now, there is someone that self-motivated to come cannibalize what we're doing, because we are now the norm. Now we're the norm. We are the authoritative kind of company now. We are the ones setting the norm. So there is someone that have kind of heat and kind of self-motivation to ensure that we are kind of disrupted. So we need to be disrupted within and ensure that we're always on top of what we're doing.
Yes, I love what you said about focusing on building the intrinsic value rather than how it's being perceived. Because I feel we as human beings, sometimes because of the place we sit, we get more credit than we deserve. Sometimes we get less credit, but it's about at the end of the day when we're with ourselves, how do we regard what we're building? And it's hard. And how do you do it? Do you meditate? Do you be away from people? What's your ritual to cultivate that sense of center within you?
I would love to have the luxury to kind of meditate. I always say when I probably retire, I'll kind of redeem all these all that burnouts through long-term meditation. But I think with time I start building the control where I isolate myself and create that life-work balance. So when I go home, I try to kind of be the father rather than the CEO, be with my family, with my wife, with the kids, and ensure that the work do not spill to that life. And that give you kind of peace and recharge on a daily basis to come back and try to perform as a better kind of a CEO. For me, I always go to the extreme. I think what is the worst gonna happen? So I think some sense of meditation is going to the extreme. Is like, what is the extreme? It's death. Probably if you die, what will happen? And I think one of the meditating points for me is to understand what are the repercussions of this, what will happen after. Is it the final point, is death or kind of failure, and try to understand, will I be in that phase or am I in an earlier phase? Is it that greater in that kind of a stage? So I think I do a lot of deep thinking and understanding the impact of that problem. Sometimes that problem looks at as a mountain, but is not as big as this. So I try to isolate the issue, understand a life as a journey.
Yes.
And I think when I look and walk and see in the street, and this earth is almost kind of 30 million kind of years, you wouldn't remember the people that 100 years ago walking the street. So I think zooming out from your life, understanding you're nobody, is a good kind of meditation point for you to understand that you're probably dent on that kind of the world history. You're not the center of the world, and that gives you a sense of comfort that your mistake is going to be impactful probably in your small circle, but is not something going to echo through the kind of a human history, which is way bigger than yourself.